Chapter 2. President Obote Strings. The great Makerelian who should be respected for fighting for the rights of fellow students, which consequently led to his expulsion, became so famous in the political binoculars of the colonial Uganda. Obote was so fundamental in leading Uganda to independence, and when he became the first executive prime minister of Uganda, everyone had to cheer him up. In summary, Dr. Obote, upon joining active politics, he worked with the late Ignatius Kangavemosas of Uganda National Congress, and this happened to be the first political party in Uganda. Obote, due to ideological differences, formed the Uganda People's Congress that favorably competed and made wonders at the 11th hour of self-rule. It should be noted that the three young men of the time, notably Ben Kiwanuka the genius, Sir Edward Muteesa the Kabaka, and Dr. Milton Obote the charismatic one, carried the leadership of this nation, and their achievements put us where we are, and still their mistakes laid a firm foundation for the lasting political problems we are facing. I will not blame them much given their age. None of them was 50. They lacked requisite experience on how to form coalitions, their management, and how to lead a country with a multiplicity of tribes, diverse backgrounds, and reasoning. Majority of the led were extremely barbaric due to low levels of education, which is no one's mistake. We shouldn't dwell on their degree of civilization to judge them, but the concept of democracy was not only weird but also unbecoming to the ears of the majority. The few learned, like Ben Kiwanuka, who knew the hills and valleys of democracy, expounded the entire concept to the deaf and ended parting ways with the expelled university politician who joined with the Kabaka to form a government. Allow me to say that the biggest mistake has roots from this coalition between Kabaka Yeka and Uganda People's Congress. This marriage of convenience left a lot to be desired, as each assumed the responsibility which they ought not to have at a critical moment that made the leaders party ways like some party supporters of a certain political party today. It's hard to tell whether these people really reason. Anyway, if people are still green about politics in 2025, what do you think happened in 1967? I want not to condemn the errors made during the old days. That is why everything is brief. The other issue was about forming a Uganda for all Ugandans, where all people were equal before the law. This was like uttering vulgar language in the ears of the natives. These were people who grew up serving masters, if not colonial masters, slave masters, landlords, chiefs, or kings. How could someone mention the word equality of all men? Ben had to lose however much. What he had prepared for Uganda was the best ever. That's life. Today people will vote for the less informed because they speak what the electorates want to hear. They choose those who can afford bribe for votes, those who can abuse others, those who have access to the media, those who are corrupt because they believe the swindlers shall vomit something for them. They vote for the noise makers because they are good at shouting and hate those with integrity, those who can contemplate issues, those who live out, those with the best manifesto, and go with the charming candidates. This happened decades ago, but still existing. Dr. Obote learned the name of the game. He understood what really Baganda wanted. Their king, the Kabaka, nothing else. Take away their land, rape their women and children, swindle public funds, kill them, call them names, but never point a finger at their king, the Kabaka. Those are the Baganda. Dr. Obote knew this very well and played his cards well. It was against such a background that where religion became a defining factor of Uganda's politics, another concept stormed in high gear: the tribe problem. People only voted for their tribal mates. However, when Dr. Obote collaborated with the Kabaka, the tribal question was put aside to eye a picture ahead of them. The Baganda embraced, liked and supported Dr. Obote at the expense of their own Ben Kiwanuka because the Kabaka had spit at him. This was uncommon, just like it is today. Well, someone may wonder why President Obote parted ways with the President Muteesa so fast after attaining power. I want to say that their relationship took longer than I expected because the duo operated a democratic state on democratic principles they knew little about compared to Ben, yet they were in practice not democratic. Sorry to say that they were naturally dictatorial because they grew seeing and knowing this. This is like today in most of the African countries, which are democratic and exercise democracy, though to a lesser extent, these are not democratic. These ninjas are simply pseudo-democrats, while others are broad daylight totalitarians, planting political opponents while assassinating real opposition leaders, if not abduct or arrest them. If Dr. Obote parted ways with the President Muteesa, let's understand that it was about the questionable democratic governance they never understood and were not willing to practice. There might be other reasons. Let's discuss them another day. President Obote was welcomed by the Baganda, voted for him, married a Muganda woman, and voted for the second time. Even after losing, a Muganda, Paul Muwanga, announced him at the expense of a fellow Muganda, Paul Kawanga Semogere. I am trying to mention a few key issues where the Baganda strongly stood for President Obote. If acting rational, leaving fellow Muganda out for the best of Uganda is treacherous, that is the basis for calling a good Muganda is a dead one, then this deserves revising. However, if it be real that the Baganda involved in the Zaire gold scandal and tried to impeach Obote for that by instituting a commission of inquiry against President Obote, if it be true that the Baganda raided their palace leading to the exile of their own Kabaka, and these colluded in his death, if it be true that the Baganda successfully carried out a coup d'etat against President Obote in 1971, if it be true that the Baganda went to war and took over power from Dr. Obote in 1986, then we have a reason to reckon on, otherwise the statement has a lot to be desired. Leaving the above paragraph unexplained might leave a younger historian at crossroads. Thus, the following highlights are necessary. The Ugandan army incognito crossed the borders and stole gold from Zaire, a mission presumed to be spearheaded by Dr. Obote and Idi Amin. When this was tabled in parliament to impeach the prime minister, he reacted by raiding the Kabaka's palace, who was the president by then, Sir Edward Walugembe Luwangula Muteesa, son of Ssekabaka Daudi Chwa and grandson of the great Ssekabaka Mwanga II, the founder of Uganda. about Mwanga to find out in the book King Mwanga the Great. The mission was executed by Idi Amin, who later overthrew President Obote in 1971, who was overthrown in 1979. In the events that followed, when Obote took the seat again, it was President Tito Okello Lutwa who took from Obote, and later President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Buhaburwa who took over power in 1986. However much some Baganda like Godfrey Rukongwa Binaisa, Paul Muwanga, and Professor Yusuf Kilonde Lule, one of his kind, sat on the top seat, none of them led Uganda for a year. My question, when was a Muganda tested to be rationally and fairly judged? I cannot deny that many Baganda hated President Obote so much to an extent of saying no to his body. Many put a dog as his hair in expression of their anger towards him. If there is any other Baganda, if there is anyone, the Baganda of the time hated most in their history outside Apollo Obote is his own shadow. Many allege that he was responsible for the death of the Kabaka Sir E.W. Muteesa. These were mere allegations. Many Baganda loved Obote so much and named him Obote, but hated him more than ever before. We also believe that some Baganda mistreated President Obote so much that he might have picked reasons for hating them. Should we say that this is the reason why the statement came into play? Whatever it is, let's forgive and forget, then put our hands together to work with unity and oneness for a better Uganda.